manifestation doesn't need to be complicated. It is so simple actually, but I see so many people complicating this stuff. Manifestation is nothing but changing your internal state to shape your external reality, right? If you can change your internal state, then your external reality will be changed, right? So what this means is your current circumstances is your current circumstances has been created because of your current internal state. So if you want to change your external reality, all we need to do is change your internal state. And it is very easy actually. How can you change your internal state? You change your internal state by reprogramming your subconscious mind. Subcon, right? Because all your beliefs, your identity, whatever your subconscious mind holds true, that is what will get reflected in your reality. So by changing your internal state, what I mean, so by changing your internal state, what I mean by that statement is when you change what is inside your subconscious mind, your external reality will get changed, right? And now let's talk about how you can change your subconscious mind, right? So let's take trauma for example. What is trauma basically? Trauma is just a person goes through a very emotionally intensive experience which creates a trauma, right? That emotion gets stored within the subconscious, and that emotion rules their entire life until or unless they intentionally work towards it, and they work towards discharging that emotional charge that is inside them, right? So, to program your subconscious mind, you just need to imprint emotions on it, right? To program your subconscious mind, all you need to do is imprint it with emotions. When you have an intense emotional experience, then your reality starts changing, right? So how do you imprint your subconscious mind with emotions? So there are various techniques that you can use. There are various techniques that I have used to alter my reality, right? So when it comes to manifestation techniques, right, it can be anything. It can be affirmations, it can be visualization, it can be scripting, it can be vision boards, it can be literally anything, right? But why most people go wrong with manifestations, or why most people complicate with this stuff, is because they are not focusing on an emotion, right? For a manifestation to happen, there needs to be a emotional charge. If there's no emotional charge out of the technique, any technique which you use, if there is no emotional charge, then the manifestation will not happen, right? A simple way to change your beliefs, a simple way to change anything in your internal state, if you want to change your behavior, emotions is necessary, right? Emotions is a secret. As Neville Goddard says, feeling is the secret. Feeling and emotion both can be interchanged, but the meaning is the same. You need to feel as if you are in your desired reality. You need to start living from the end. Every day you need to start feeling the emotions on how you would feel if you were in your desired reality. It is that simple. If you just take action on the single video, you don't need to watch another manifestation video. Just But people overcomplicate this stuff, right? So here's what you need to do. So you might ask, how can we imprint emotions onto the subconscious mind? It's very simple. So let's take a technique. Let's say visualization, right? Before you go to bed or after you wake up in the morning, just imagine as if you are in your desired reality, right? Be specific. Be specific. So here what you can do is imagine a specific scenario. So for me, when I started this journey, what I would do is I would start imagining myself being in expensive resorts and luxury hotels because that is what I wanted, right? When I told to myself, when I'm financially rich, I would start going to these financial resorts and hotels because that is what I wanted. That is one of my desires, right? To go on vacations on these luxury hotels and spend time on it with my family. So when I started out, I imagined myself being in a luxury hotel and just chilling on and chilling beside the swimming pool, just enjoying the ambience over there, having a fun time with my family, right? And within the scenario, I felt a sense of freedom. I felt secure, I felt joyful, right? Feeling these emotions is the critical component of any manifestation practice. If you can nail this, then that's enough. That's literally the whole manifestation process. It is actually so simple, right? So one more technique that I use is scripting. Scripting is nothing but write down a specific scenario. So what you can do is, so what I used to do is, I used to script and imagine the scenario if I was in my desired reality, right? So let's say you want to make $10,000 per month, right? So once you start making $10,000 per month, what would you do with it, right? Would you buy your mom a present? Would you take your whole family on a vacation? Or would you travel around the world? Whatever it may be, just write down a specific scenario, an imaginary scenario in detail. And by doing this, you will start creating emotions that you would feel if you were in your desired reality, right? So I just gave you two techniques that you can use. And once you, but you can follow any technique, right? The technique doesn't matter. What matters is you and you creating an emotional charge out of the technique you use. And two underrated but very important foundations of manifestations is conviction. You need to know that this technique will work, right? You need to have absolute faith that this technique will work for you. If you don't believe that this technique will work for you, then whatever you do, it will not work. If you don't believe manifestation as a whole, or if you don't believe in this esoteric knowledge, or if you don't believe that you can make these things happen, if you don't believe you can achieve your goal, if you don't have that self belief on yourself, if you don't have conviction, conviction is nothing but a state of knowing, right? When I switch on the light, I know for a fact that the light will get turned on. I know for a fact that if I stop holding this marker, it will fall down. It is a state of knowing, right? So you need to know that this techniques or this manifestation practice, whatever it may be, will work. And I talk about these concepts deeply in my program where I help entrepreneurs tap into the abundance frequency. So if you're an entrepreneur, check the link out. So back to the topic. You need to have a state of knowing, an absolute conviction that the technique that you use will work. This need not be a technique. Just going through the emotions on how you would feel if you were in desired reality. You need to have the conviction that feeling those emotions will lead to the desired reality, right? And how you can develop conviction is, even though this video is single-handedly enough for you to manifest whatever desires you want, I would still recommend to watch my other videos, and not just my videos. You can start reading books, you can start reading articles, you can start following other YouTubers who talk about these topics, right? The reason I want you to consume this knowledge, study this knowledge is your conviction grows. The more you study about this knowledge, the more conviction you have that these concepts actually work, that this esoteric knowledge is real, right? If you just watch one video, let's say this is the one single video that you have ever watched in your entire life about these concepts. Of course, your rational mind will try to bring logic into this, and of course, logic is just one part of this equation, right? If you are a very scientific person, if you are a very rational person, then having conviction in these concepts might be hard, and that is why you need to keep studying this knowledge to grow conviction. And once you have enough conviction, then manifesting your desired reality becomes significantly more easier, right? So whatever technique you use, or even if you don't need to use any technique at all, right? If you can just start feeling those emotions like how you would feel if you were in your desired reality, no technique is required. But if you're a beginner, then of course a technique will make it significantly easier to direct your emotions, right? And the next thing is, so let's say you take a technique, let's say you will visualize every day, right? Take a manifestation practice and you need to do it every day. You need to be consistent with it, right? Because if you're not consistent, then another very important foundation of manifestation gets hit, it gets sabotaged, which is, let's say if you are not consistent, you deplete your self trust. So let's say, so for example, you say that I will do this visualization practice that Nitish talked about in this video for the next 30 days, right? And you don't follow up on your word, you're not consistent with it, right? So if you believe that doing this practice will lead you to a desired reality, and if you stop doing it, then your self trust takes a hit. And if your self trust depletes, then your confidence depletes as well. And if your confidence depletes, then you will start doubting yourself. And if you start doubting yourself, then you will never attain your desired reality, right? So if you take this manifestation practice seriously, and if you do it in a consistent way, then your conviction, then your confidence grows. Of course, assuming that you still consume this knowledge every day, you study this knowledge every day, you start reading books, you start watching my other videos, hopefully, right? But you're not consistent with it. But if you decided that if you decide you will be consistent with this practice, but if you're not consistent, then your self-trust takes a hit. If you deplete your self-trust, then you have no confidence. If you don't have confidence, then that means you don't believe in what you do. If you don't believe in what you do, then your desired reality will not materialize into physical reality. So keep it in mind, be consistent, right? And the final thing, and the final part of this equation to manifest your desired reality is, so whatever technique you use, or if you don't use any technique, that's not a matter. You need to stop being desperate about your desired reality. You need to stop being needy. So what I recommend to my clients is, take a manifestation practice. right? So usually in my program I give them a custom protocol to use, but you can take literally any manifestation technique. So let's say scripting, right? So let's say you script every day. So let's take an imaginary scenario and you write it down and you feel those emotions. After you finish that practice, you need to let go of it. You need to forget about it, which is very easy, right? So just do the manifestation ritual and then forget it about it. So if you forget about it and you just go about your business, you just go about your day, then that is you letting go of it, right? You need to be detached. It should be easy for you to let go of your desires. Once you start feeling more of the emotions that you would feel if you were in a reality, then letting go becomes significantly more easier. And that is one more reason for you to be consistent. If you're being consistent about your practice and you do that manifestation ritual every day and you feel those emotions that you would feel if you were in your desired reality, then you go from the wanting state to the having state. And if you go from the want state to the have state, then letting go becomes significantly more easier because you already have it. You are more joyful, you're more happier, you feel more secure, right? And letting go becomes significantly more easier. Forgetting about it becomes significantly more easier. And that is another reason for you to be consistent. So, God damn it, please be consistent. Don't come over here and say, oh my God, manifestation doesn't work. Of course, it will not work if you're not consistent with it. If you go to the gym for a week and say, oh my God, I didn't lose weight, then of course you didn't lose weight. You can't say going to the gym doesn't work. And of course, just taking action alone will not lead you to your desired reality, but that is a separate another topic. I think I have a recorded video for it. Just check out my other videos. You will see that taking too much action will also not lead you to your desired reality, right? But staying on this video, this is the final but crucial piece that you need to understand. The more you consistent you are with your practice, the more easy it will be to let go. And if you can easily let go, then the universe thinks, okay, this guy already has it. He's not desperate, he's not needy. Only then the universe will give you your desired reality. And if you do all of this, right? If you have been watching this video till now, then good, you will achieve your desired reality. But after all of this, you will start getting intuitive signs on what action to take, because you would have aligned your frequency in the right way, and your frequency will directly be associated with your desired reality. And once you're in the right frequency, by doing this practice, you will get intuitive signs on what action to take. And once you receive these signs, you need to take action fast. You need to take action fast, because the more faster you take action, the more faster your desired reality will materialize. That's it. I hope this is your last manifestation video. Just start implementing this, and I will see you in your desired reality. Peace.